Oh, hi kids. You caught me reading the weather section of today's newspaper and drinking some hot coffee from my thermos. As you can tell by the way I'm dressed, it's going to be cold outside. Can you tell what the topic of today's show is? I'm drinking hot coffee from my thermos and I'm dressed for the cold. If you said it's about hot and cold, you're almost right. We're going to talk about temperature, which is the measurement of hot and cold. So sit back, don't go anywhere. I'm going to teach you all about temperature, Dr. Quack style. Welcome back, kids. I sure hope you're ready to learn because I have a lot of neat stuff to show you. But first, I need to introduce my assistant, Dizzy Izzy. Dizzy Izzy? I said Dizzy Izzy!
You called?
I sure did, Dizzy. We need to teach the kids all about temperature. And by the looks of the way you're dressed, I'd say you haven't even looked at the temperature today.
As a matter of fact, I did. See? 100 degrees Fahrenheit.
Dizzy, this paper's from Houston, Texas. We don't live in Houston, Texas. Look, 32 degrees Fahrenheit.
Dr. Quack, that paper's from Juneau, Alaska. We're not in Juneau, Alaska either.
How did I get a Juneau, Alaska paper?
If the weather isn't 100 degrees and it's not 32 degrees, then what is the weather?
That's a good question. Let's find out.
How are we going to do that when we don't have a local newspaper or a weatherman to tell us what the temperature is?
Well, that's easy. We'll look at a thermometer. Come on, I'll show you.
Dr. Quack, that's a thermostat on the wall, not a thermometer.
Well, this is indeed a thermostat, which allows me to adjust the temperature of the room, but it also tells me what the temperature is, thus acting as a thermometer as well. You see? It's 69 degrees. Oh, no. 69 degrees? Well, I guess I am overdressed.
And I guess I'm underdressed for the temperature.
There, that should do it. I've set this thermostat to 32 degrees, so the air conditioner will cool this room down fast, and I'll be dressed appropriately.
Wow, snow! That was fast! I don't understand. How does that little box on the wall control the temperature?
Well, you see, when we set this temperature to 32 degrees, it tells the air conditioner to run, and the air conditioner runs until it reaches 32 degrees, and then it turns off. If the temperature rises above 32 degrees, it turns the air conditioner back on.
So what if I want the temperature to be hot like 100 degrees?
Well then, we just turn this thermostat all the way up to 100 degrees, and the heater turns on.
Hey, it's raining. Why is it raining?
Well, you see, when the snow in the sky melts, it turns to rain. Just like when rain in the sky freezes, it turns to snow.
Dr. Quack, I see smoke.
Oh, that's not smoke, Dizzy Izzy. That's steam. You see, when water gets really hot, it evaporates. And when a lot of water evaporates, it turns to steam. Speaking of getting hot, it is way too hot in here. Most people like to keep their houses and businesses between 69 degrees and 74 degrees. I like it at 70. Do you know what that means? And you're underdressed. Let's go get into some scientific clothes so we can teach these children more about temperature. Here's an observation I want you to do at home. Find the thermostat to your air conditioner and read what the thermostat is set to and what the temperature actually is, and see how close they are. What is your favorite temperature? Hot or cold?
I like hot better than cold. Cold. I like hot. I like cold. Hot dog.
Do you like winter or summer?
I love summer. Winter's my favorite. I like summer better than winter. I like winter. Winter. I like summer better than winter. Summer so I can go swimming and go to the park.
Hot foods like pizza or cold foods like ice cream?
I like cold foods better than hot foods. I like hot food like pizza. Neither, I like warm. I like hot foods better than cold foods.
So what was the thermostat set to at your house? And what was the temperature? Were they about the same? I bet it was somewhere around 70, right? Hey Dizzy, how'd you like all that rain and snow and steam in the lab?
I thought it was cool. And hot.
Remember kids, you can't really make it snow or rain in your house by adjusting the thermostat. That was just sort of a dramatization that we did to get you to understand the topic a little better.
But you can still change the outside weather and make it rain or snow by adjusting the outside thermostat, right?
No, Dizzy. As much as scientists would love to be able to control the weather, I'm afraid there's no such thing as an outside thermostat. No one controls the weather.
Not even the weatherman?
No, the weatherman just predicts what the weather may do. You see, weather is a complex cycle of pressure systems swirling all around the Earth. Temperature plays a vital role in this system.
Thank you, Dr. Quack.
As you can see, temperature is very important to many things in our world. There are two scales that scientists use to measure temperature. One is the Celsius scale, where pure water freezes at 0 degrees and boils at 100 degrees. Then there's the Fahrenheit scale, where water freezes at 32 degrees and boils at 212 degrees. Both scales use the behavior of water during cold and hot as a way to measure temperature. Scientists prefer to use the Celsius scale, while non-scientists, at least in America, usually use Fahrenheit. You would think people would like to use Celsius more because it's so much simpler, 0 being freezing and 100 being boiling, but that's just not the case.
Okay.
Do you know what this is?
It's a thermometer. I know that because I use it to take my temperature when I'm sick.
That's correct. What scale is this in?
It's in the Fahrenheit scale.
The temperature that we're concerned about when talking about humans is called body temperature. Do you know what body temperature is?
I know it shouldn't be a fever.
A fever is when your body temperature is more than what it's supposed to be. A healthy human body temperature is 98.6 degrees Fahrenheit. If it rises above 98.6 degrees, then your temperature is now called a fever. A fever signals that there is something wrong happening inside your body. It could mean you have an infection, or virus, or some other medical problem. If you have a high or prolonged fever, it is best to go see your doctor. What if you discovered you had a fever, but you couldn't get to the doctor real quick? What would your parents do to help reduce the fever?
Give you fever-reducing medicine.
That's true, but what else would they do? Think about what we did in the lab to make it snow.
You mean when you had two guys stand on ladders and pour a bunch of little pieces of paper on our heads?
I mean, what did I do?
Oh, you mean whenever you turned the AC on to cool down the room?
Yes, we can also do things to our bodies to cool down our blood to reduce our fevers. For instance, we can take a cold, wet, damp cloth and put it on our foreheads.
Whew, that's cold.
What else could we do?
Take a cold bath.
Exactly. The cold water in a bath will lower the temperature of our blood and reduce our fever. Care to demonstrate?
The things I go through to help you teach a lesson.
The water in this cooler is about 68 degrees.
Hey, it's not so bad. Now that's cold.
Adding the ice to the water dropped the temperature to about 52 degrees. That will reduce the temperature of your blood and lower your fever, if you had one. Now remember, what we've demonstrated here will reduce a fever, but it won't cure the underlying cause of a fever. Your fever is your body's way of telling you that you're sick, so if you have a fever, you should always go to the doctors. Okay, kids, I have an experiment for you. Ask your parents to help you take your temperature with a thermometer. Now read what it says on the thermometer. Also, check and see if it says Fahrenheit or Celsius. Your temperature should be somewhere around 98.6 degrees Fahrenheit. By the way I'm dressed, I guess you can tell what aspect of temperature we're going to be talking about now. Temperature as it relates to cooking. This is the chemist's kitchen. Dizzy Izzy isn't back yet. Dizzy Izzy! Dizzy Izzy!
I brought the picture of fruit punch that you asked for.
Dizzy Izzy, I didn't ask for a picture of fruit punch. I asked for a pitcher of fruit punch.
Oh, let me go get that for you.
Much better, thank you.
Well, look at you, all dressed up for a costume party, and you didn't even invite me.
Dizzy Izzy, I'm not dressed up for a costume party. I'm dressed to cook. This is the chemist's kitchen. Do you know what this is?
Well, it looks like a thermometer, but I don't use this to take my temperature when I think I have a fever.
Well, that's good, Dizzy Izzy, because this is used for cooking. You see, there are little markings on here that tell you how hot it needs to be for various foods to be safe to eat. Can you open the refrigerator for me?
Sure.
What do you see in there?
I see hot dogs.
Besides the hot dogs.
You mean this thing that looks like a thermometer?
That's right. It's important to have a thermometer in your refrigerator, so that way you know that your food is being cooled below the danger zone.
The danger zone? That sounds scary.
The danger zone is anywhere between 40 degrees and 140 degrees Fahrenheit. This range of temperature is where bacteria grows most rapidly.
Ooh, that sounds scary.
Spoiled and bad food caused by staying in the danger zone can be. Ever heard of food poisoning?
I had that once. I got sick and even had a fever.
Well, that's why controlling the temperature of your food is so very important. Now, not all foods are subject to temperature control, but meats and dairy products are.
You mean like hot dogs?
Right. Now, our refrigerator is set to 37 degrees, so these hot dogs are safely under the danger zone. What temperature do we need to raise these hot dogs to in order for them to be safe to eat?
Well, if the danger zone is 40 to 140 degrees, then we should cook these hot dogs over 140 degrees.
Right. Let's cook us some hot dogs. Now, the microwave is one way to raise the temperature of a hot dog from 37 degrees to 140 degrees really fast. Do you know what that's called?
Lunch.
No, it's called cooking. Now, we have 30 seconds before this hot dog's done. What should we do in the meantime?
We should dance.
Well, what kind of dance?
The hot dog dance.
The hot dog dance! Oh, our hot dog's done. Let's see if the hot dog's done. What temperature does this thermometer say?
70 degrees Fahrenheit.
That's the temperature of the room. Now let's stick it in the hot dog. Now what does it say?
165 degrees.
That means it's ready to eat. Another way to make things heat up is by using fire. Now remember, kids, don't try this at home. I'm a professional scientist.
Ooh. Wow! It's bubbling!
What temperature do you think this water is?
I don't know, but it sure looks hot.
Well, I'll give you a hint. The water is boiling. What temperature does water boil at?
100 degrees.
100 degrees Celsius? What about Fahrenheit?
I don't know.
Let's find out. What does that say?
212 degrees.
Exactly.
That's cool.
No, that's hot. And now for an experiment that's really cool. For this experiment, you're going to need an ice cube tray, mine's blue, some toothpicks, some fruit juice, cherry, and a piece of aluminum foil. What we're going to do is, we're going to fill this ice cube tray with fruit juice.
Hey, I think I know what you're doing.
Shh! Keep it a secret. I'm a little messy. Make sure your parents are around to help you out in case you make a mess. Then, we're gonna put toothpicks in each one of the cubes. Wait, Dizzy Izzy. They're not gonna stand up if you put them in like that. We need to put aluminum foil on first. There we go. Now put one in each cube.
This is gonna be good.
Now, it needs to go in the freezer.
Can I put it in there?
Well, sure. Be careful. Don't spill it. Now we'll leave it in the freezer for 30 minutes, and then we'll see what happens. All right, let's see what we created.
I'm so excited. Popsicles! I knew it! I love popsicles!
Who doesn't? This fruit juice is mostly water, so in order to get it to freeze, we needed to bring the temperature down below 32 degrees Fahrenheit. That's why we put it in the freezer. Here's an experiment for you to try at home. Place juice in an empty ice tray. Put toothpicks inside each ice section of the tray and stick it in the freezer. Every 5 minutes, check to see if the fruit juice has turned into a popsicle. When it has, write down how long it took to go from a liquid to a solid. Oh, and then eat them. Hi, kids! I sent Dizzy Izzy out to get my coat. Did you enjoy your popsicles? I'll bet you did.
Here's your coat, Dr. Quack.
Well, thanks, Dizzy Izzy.
What do you need your coat for? It's not cold in here.
Oh, well, it has to do with our final lesson about temperature, and that's insulation. Do you know what insulation is?
Isn't it that pink stuff inside your attic?
Well, that's home insulation. Say, do you know what home insulation does?
Doesn't it keep the air inside your house from seeping outside? So that way, whatever temperature you have your house set to, it stays there.
Exactly. Insulation tries to keep cold and heat contained in an area. My coat, for example, keeps the cold air from coming inside and making me feel cold.
Ooh, Dr. Quack, don't drink that. It's gotta be cold.
Well, you would think that this hot coffee would be cold by now after sitting in this container all day, but it's not. You know why?
I'm gonna go ahead and guess insulation.
Well, that's right. This thermos was designed to keep the temperature of the liquids that I put in it the same throughout the day. It doesn't know with the liquids that I put in here are hot or cold, it works the same way either way. It keeps cold and heat from escaping, and it keeps the cold and heat outside from coming in. So if I put hot coffee in here, it stays hot all day. Or if I put cold lemonade in here, it'll stay cold too.
You know what I've noticed? A lot of the new things that we're learning about are almost spelled the same, like thermos, thermostat, and even thermometer.
Well, that's because they all have to do with heat, whether it's controlling heat, containing heat, or measuring heat. Thermos means heat. Hey kids, here's an experiment you can do at home. You're gonna need 3 sippy cups, the kind with the little holes on top. Well, thanks, Dizzy Izzy. You're also gonna want some ice. We're gonna fill each sippy cup with equal amounts of ice. Then we're gonna screw the lids on real tight. Next, we're gonna take a shoebox. In the first shoebox, we're gonna take a cup and wrap it in a towel. Thank you. The next shoebox, we're gonna leave empty, except for the cup. The final shoebox is gonna contain these fun packing peanuts. We're gonna push the cup down in there good and set them aside.
Now what?
Now we're gonna wait 30 minutes. Then we're gonna take the temperature of each sippy cup. They'll all be different, I assure you. The sippy cup with the coldest temperature is in the best insulator. What does temperature measure?
Hot and cold.
What instrument do you use to adjust the temperature in your home?
The thermostat adjusts the temperature in your home by telling the air conditioning or heater when to turn on and off.
What instrument is used to measure temperature?
A thermometer.
Meat and dairy products should be stored in a refrigerator at what temperature?
Meat and dairy products should be stored below 40 degrees Fahrenheit.
The prefix thermos stands for what?
Heat.
Wow, I can't believe it's time for us to go already.
I know. I was having so much fun.
There's always next time.
Yay! I can't wait!
The world is filled with so many fascinating things for us to learn about. But remember, since God created it, He is the ultimate scientist. We'll see you next time right here on Super Simple Science Stuff. Bye!
See ya!
Bye, kids!
Bye-bye!
Bye.